Right, everyone, very warm welcome back. I'm really delighted to welcome our next speakers, and I'm going to see if I can spotlight you for me, Shilpa and Claire. And let's find Claire. The joys of having multiple screens is it takes a little while for the cursor to come across.
I think Claire's on call. She might just not be back from break, I think.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm in a
She's here.
dress
She's
if I stand out.
Perfect. Here we go.
Thank
Right,
you.
excellent. Thank you so much. So I am very delighted to welcome our next speakers, Shilpa and Claire, and they'll be sharing their expertise on the important topic of career conversations. Both Claire and Shilpa bring a wealth of experience in supporting our workforce on their development, and today they'll be exploring how meaningful career conversations can empower individuals and build confidence. So over to you guys.
Hello, everybody. I'm Shilpa, as Sajda introduced us, and thank you, Sajda. Claire, do you want to come in and just say hello before I start?
Just briefly, thanks, Shilpa. Yeah, my name's Claire Wardle and I'm from NHS England and I'm a health and care support workforce senior specialist. So great to be here and to be able to do some work with Shilpa and share hopefully some insightful information. Thank you.
So today's session is more about a conversation around careers, and by careers we mean, education as well as looking at opportunities. What do you want from your careers? Next slide, please. Yeah. Do you want to move the slides, Sajda? Yeah. So what we are hoping that, by the end of this session, you will have some ideas about how to make a good application, whether it is for an apprenticeship or a course that you are doing, or you want to, explore a role within your trust or elsewhere. But I think that's what makes a good application, and how you can show yourself best in an interview, whether it's for a university through UCAS application for apprenticeship, because I think that's a great step forward for many of you, and other opportunities in other courses as well. So we're hoping that you will, gain some knowledge and skills of how to do this. Next, please. Yeah. So what does a career planning look like? And I think it's good to kind of reflect and see what you want from your progression. What is your career ladder? Kind of what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Which direction do you want to go? Do you want to go towards education? What motivates you? What qualifications you already have? How can you build on the qualifications you already have? What does success look like? What do you want at the end? So think about those things and see what it means for you, that career planning. Next, please. Yeah. So what is important for your career education, and how will you decide whether, the pathway is right for you? What does a good workplace look like for you? So is it about the hours that you do, or so it'll be good to put, if you can put some things in the chat. What are you looking from a good job or a career or an education pathway? Is it about more money? Is it about stability? So it'll be good to hear what people have and see. So it'll be good to have some ideas in your chat. And while people are putting things on the chat, for some people it is about what else can they get. It may not be about money. It may be about responsibility, that additional responsibility. We've got maximizing my potential to improve job satisfaction. Yeah, that's correct. It may also be about hours of work, flexibility. So if you are bringing up children, you may want that flexibility. It is important that you are allowed to kind of be flexible with the hour you use, hours you kind of work. Yes, somebody's put over here family commitments, progression. So all of those things are important, and sometimes you may want to apply for education or a career that allows those flexibilities. Next, please. So most of the apprenticeships, if they're internal, you would find it on your own. Trust websites have their own processes, but if you're looking for a sidestep career progression, then most of these things are advertised on NHS jobs. I think most of you might be familiar with it, but I just thought it's just good to refresh and bring that website on the screen to see. If you're not familiar, then please explore this website. There are some top tips in there as well. Next slide. I would say whether you're looking for apprenticeship or whether you're looking for a new role, or even within your own role, if when you are having your you know appraisal, think about your job description. Look at the job description and think about what are the essential criteria in the job description. What is it that the education pathway that you're looking for requires? So if you are, for example, going to do an apprenticeship and it is a degree apprenticeship in one of the AHP professions, then you may want to actually see why you want to, you may want to think why you want to do that apprenticeship, or if you're applying for a role, look at the essential criteria and see how you can actually sell yourself best, because that is what the employers or universities are looking, because often these places are competitive and you want to be the best candidate. Next, please. So what does a good application look like? And we already talked about, understand the role. And is it something that you want to do? Then how can you prepare a good personal statement? Put all effort into it. Demonstrate, think about, make a list of all the experience you have. Think about the values that the trusts have. And how you can align those values with your experience. Think about what does it say in the essential criteria. What are your personal skills and qualities that they are asking for, and how you can match them. Now, nobody can match all 100% of the essential criteria, so don't worry about it, because you will never, nobody kind of ever matches all the essential criteria, but think outside the box. You may have done some things in your volunteering, so and we will talk about how to produce a good personal statement. But if you highlighted and thought about your strengths, etc., then it'll help you kind of think about what you want to put in your personal statement, whether it is for apprenticeship or whether it is for a career progression. Next, please. And how do we evidence it? So we talked about knowledge, and in the knowledge bit, you can think about all the qualifications that you have. So think about what you've got in terms of already have, and make a list of it. Think about what you have learned from it and what is required from why you want to do that apprenticeship, how you're going to build on that. Think about your experience that you have gained from your current role, from your previous roles, and what have you learned? What difference have you made? And think about the additional skills. So you may have, in your previous role, you may have developed good IT skills, or you may have developed good communication things, and think about examples from those things. You may have volunteered, if you are a parent, you may have even volunteered or done things for, the school PTA. So think about all those little things, that little nuggets that you have done, which may align in some of those things. Transferable skills. We'll pick on the transferable skills in the next couple of slides, but it's so important to think about some of those transferable skills that you may have got while you are working, or through your experience at home or at work. Next slide. So what is transferable skills? Transferable skills helps you explore wider options. So you can, you may have thought, okay, I have qualifications, for example, of working in health sector, and you want to, say, think about within the health sector, move into a different role. And you may want to actually see how it enables you to explore wider options. So, for example, if I take myself, I was working in healthcare science, and then I wanted to move into management type of things. So I used, how my transferable skills were aligning with some of those roles. So think about what it can. It allows you to explore things widely. It also sometimes lets you focus your search. So if you think you really want to work with people around you, so you can look for jobs that are more people-facing jobs. So that's an example. Now, generally, the transferable skills can be classified into, that information and data. And I put some examples, but please feel free to put some other examples in the chat if others on the call can think about some other examples, because it's good to have that range of ideas for people to actually think, yes, actually, I'm good at this. Thinking ideas include problem solving, decision making, those kind of and it helps, the time management, those key skills that kind of, helps. Uh, Coaching and handling conflict, listening, that kind of things, and practical skills. So these days, often practical skills are kind of essential in some of the roles, for example, event organizing, or if you are specialized in using a particular equipment in your AHP support worker role, that is unique to you. That is your unique USP. So, hold on to that, and you are the champion in that. Important traits, so things like flexibility, whether you can work in the evening. So, uh, what motivates you, that self-motivation, that kind of thing. So it's those things are called transferable skills. I believe, do you want me to take the question now, or such that at the end, perhaps, or?
I think at the end, if that's okay. But I can see that some questions are coming into the chat, and Claire very helpfully is responding much better than I did. So thanks, Claire.
Okay, that's fine. Can you next slide, please? So like I said, you are your own brand, and some of these things, your knowledge, your experience, your transferable skills make you your own person. That those are your kind of strengths. Those are your things that you can build your personal statement on. Next slide. And to kind of look at the strengths, it's good to have that self-assessment. And we talked about your experience, and academic performance, your career interest, what interests you, what do you want? So think about all that, put it down on a paper. I would say, it always helps to talk to somebody else. It helps to talk to a buddy, if you have a buddy, your manager, because those are the people who can help you. And sometimes it's also good to talk to a friend, and you might say, you may not see those trends inside yourself, but other people do recognize those trends. It's always good to ask somebody else who's closely working with you or who's closely living with you in your family as well. So those are the things that kind of help you build the picture or the profile of yourself. And often this is called a micro profile. So you just need those bullet points to help you build that persona for your application. Thank you. Next slide here. Right, so this is where the YouTube is, and you're going to play it, or?
Could you please make sure that the captions are on?
You're telling, okay. You want me to share it, yes? Yeah, okay, that's fine. The sound's not on?
You couldn't hear the song.
No. So you need to, when you do the
I'm
share,
pressing-
yeah.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Perfect.
One of the most important parts of a job application is the job interview. In this video, you will learn what you can expect from an interview and get useful tips to help you prepare better. The job interview starts right at the first impression. Imagine you have arrived on time and you're ready to greet your new employer. How do you do this? Research shows that smiling, eye contact, and giving a firm handshake are crucial for a good first impression. For example, people with a strong handshake are generally better appraised. During the interview, your non-verbal communication remains very important. Examples are an active sitting position and making eye contact with each person in the room. The following 3 topics are almost always discussed during the job interview. 1. Your life course. By asking questions about your background and experience, the employer tries to get a clear image of you. What have you done in your life? Why? What kind of person are you, and what qualities do you have? 2. Your motivation. The employer will also ask questions about your motivation. Why do you want to work with this organization? Why does this position appeal to you? It is important that you have a thoughtful answer to these questions. Your motivation also becomes apparent from the knowledge that you have about the company and its activities. 3. Competencies. The employer wants to know if you have the skills and personal characteristics that are needed for the job. You demonstrate these by using the STAR method. The employer also evaluates during the conversation whether he or she will work well with you and whether you will fit into the team. An employer will be more likely to select you when there is a good conversation dynamic. One way to achieve this is by giving short and powerful answers. The interviewer can then ask follow-up questions where necessary. Try to engage in conversation with all the interview attendants by asking them questions during or at the end of the conversation. In order to focus on your conversation partners and your non-verbal communication, you need to be well prepared. Below, you will find an overview of the most frequently asked questions during a job interview. When you can give a thoughtful answer to each question, you know that you are well prepared. This enables you to focus on having the best possible conversation. Try practicing with a friend who plays the role of the interviewer. Well, now we have discussed what you can expect during a job interview and what you can do to increase your success rate. If you want more detailed information, please find it below.
So I think this mentioned a job, but this same principles apply to if you're looking for an apprenticeship or for a course, and these days a lot of interviews are virtual. So, make sure that you're there on time, your link is working, um, you have a glass of water with you, because if you are doing a face-to-face interview, then you actually will have, the room will be prepared for that. But here you got to prepare everything yourself, make sure your computer's working. So I think for virtual interviews as well, these days universities are looking for, they have to, they kind of do a apprenticeship interview with the course tutor, and often your employer present uh, in the room as well. So I think make sure that you actually have kept everything ready. And if you are not sure and you need help, every NHS trusts will have an education team, and actually go and talk to the education team, the apprenticeship team in your trust, who will help you actually give you an idea about what it is required for an application for apprenticeships, as well as any career progression that you may want within your organization or any other NHS trust. So we talked about getting ready for the interview, and making a good application. But what will give you that job? What is it that makes you the ideal candidate? So, your talent, your application will get you an interview, but how will you succeed in an interview? What will keep you in that room? And often there is a very slight margin between two candidates. And how can you show that you are better than the closest candidate or the first candidate? If you are kind of two very close candidates, how will they kind of select you as the ideal candidate? So let's talk about that. Next, please. And building a good rapport when you are getting ready for an interview is, that connection, how you hit on, how you get on with somebody and sometimes it's not very natural to start a conversation with a stranger. Your body language, your engagement techniques are important, and you need to be very carefully do active listening, so that you actually hear the question and do ask them to repeat the question if you're not sure. So make sure that you are fully immersed in that interview process. Often the person who's interviewing would make, small conversations to put you at ease. And like we talked in that video clip, there is always the first question will be, tell me about yourself. So that puts you at ease. That kind of is an icebreaker type of thing. So you can almost prepare that question. Next. So we talked about transferable skills, and I'm going to pick one skill here, which is very common, communication. And very often we put communication in our application as, that verbal communication. I'm good to talk with patients. I'm good to talk with my team members. But actually think about communication as a wider piece of skill. Are you might be excellent at writing, you like reading, so you can do speed reading, you can you're good at listening, so those kind of things also come into that. You might be good at social media, so you might be an asset to the team to put things on the official web pages and things. That is a unique skills if you can do that. You may have led a discussion, you may have led a workshop. So think about different methods of communication. You may have used those message boards that we use. So think about, you may have contributed to a website, you may have developed websites. So all that falls under communication. And make sure when you are talking about it in your interview and in your application, you're covering that widely. Next. Now, effective responding to questions effectively is important, but making sure that you are showing that it is about you. And the STAR approach actually helps demonstrate, it gives you a structure. It is a technique that kind of helps you prepare for questions and also helps you keep to the structure of the response. Next slide. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about the STAR technique. And S stands for situation. So think about a situation when somebody asks you, tell us about your team leading skills, for example. And you describe the situation, you describe what you did, and what actions, and this actions bit is the important bit. There it is about you, and keep on using the I word, because it's very important you use the I word. Often we kind of move into that we as a team did this, and no, it's what you did. People want to know about you, so it's you that is that they're looking at in the interview process. And don't forget to mention what was the achievement, what was the outcome, because often we describe the actions, but what we forget to show is the impact. What was the outcome of what you did, and how did it make a difference? So I'm going to give you an example. Next slide, please. So I'm going to give you an example over here, and just think about how would you describe, demonstrate good team working skills. So describing the situation. So I'm going to give an example. So in my department, I was working and they were doing a fundraising in the hospital with the hospital charity. So you're describing the situation there. And then what was your task? So my task was to organize a cake or a bake sale. So that's the task. And action. So I took a lead. I found out who else in the team is interested in joining. I set a meeting. I set a date. And made sure everyone was sure what they were doing. We did publicity. So, I led the publicity. So think about using the words I led, things like that. That is where you are showing what you have done. And as a result, the cake sale was successful and we raised £200. So that kind of gives you a structure. It is a very simple question. There's always a question about team working or time management. So those questions, and it helps you prepare and it helps you get ready for the interview. Next. I'm going to hand over to Claire now, who's going to talk about skills and apprenticeships.
Lovely, thank you, Shilpa. I just wanted to highlight NHS England really value, and I know our employers do, the value of skills for life, which includes functional skills. So that's really around the English, maths and digital skills. And I think with the 10-year plan coming, we are really going to be seeing a shift to sort of engage and learn more about digital sort of agenda. So I think that's really key. And this slide is just to highlight some of the forums, the networks and the work going on that really helps promote and fund some of that functional skills for our staff. You don't always have to be an apprentice to access functional skills. And that's the thing, seeing some of these messages in the chat, we really want to increase people's confidence to take that next step, to learn new things and to sort of go onto that career journey. So NHS England fund employers to access overseas equivalent qualification platforms. Now that is primarily for people who want to do an apprenticeship but maybe studied abroad and have got different qualifications, as someone mentioned earlier on the call. So we enable employers to access ENIC. It was NARIC. So that's something that we do fund. So if you've got any questions about that, please do get in touch with me. There is also an employer network, and that's mainly for trust and apprentice leads, learning and development leads, but it could be that you lead service or a small team of individuals can certainly join to find out more about some of that work and the functional skills. And there's webinars with expert speakers, discussion forum. On NHS Futures, there's a Skills for Life site and discussion forum. Everyone is welcome to go and visit that page and be part of the forum. You get news and information about that Skills for Life network. So there's very often initiatives and new things happening, information about government changes about functional skills. There is an opportunity to be a national numeracy champion as well. And a lot of individuals, particularly support workers, have taken on this role because they might not feel so confident in numeracy. And I know it's a challenge for a lot of people, myself included. And to be able to make a difference within your area, within your team, within your department or trust, it's something that you can really help and champion to increase numeracy for individuals. And some people have undertaken this, they work in health or social care. It's even helped with their children and their homework, made them feel more confident in life to increase their math skills. NHSC also fund support for online English maths resources via, well, it was BKSB, but it's called One Advanced now. So these are online resources that people can brush up on their English and maths and digital skills. And also they can have access to funded exams called Open Awards. Now we have a contract in place and that's available to 2027. So there's a live link there for BKSB on the HASSO website. So once you get the slides, you can have a look at that. And normally it is your employer who would then sort of register you for the resources. So that is there. You don't have to be an apprentice to access the resources. So just brushing up on English and maths is really helpful. And also English for speakers of other languages called ESOL, and functional skills are available from local training providers, local colleges, if your trust doesn't do that. But sometimes it's worth inquiring within your trust, your education teams, to see what they support in terms of functional skills as well. And very often, if it's a local college might come into your trust or workplace, it could be face-to-face, it could be online. Some colleges run short, intense sessions as well. So it's worth having a look if that's something that you are particularly interested in. Generally, functional skills is done in your own time, but I think that is the beauty, that if it's something you really want to do, and the different variety of delivery, whether it's online, face-to-face, hopefully that can be tailored around your work and other commitments that you have. So thank you. Next slide. I also just wanted to highlight another development opportunity really, and something you might have been involved in already, is supporting the care certificate or colleagues undertaking the care certificate. And you may also be supporting T-level and work experience students. And some of this work can just help you develop and move into perhaps an education role, if that's something that you're interested in. And it does, you know, we're not saying, oh, you have to be a certain band to be an educator. You know, it can be a real interest that you have. So if you're not aware of what the care certificate is or had the opportunity to undertake it, there's a live link there. And it's a really key component of the overall induction which an employer has to provide. And it's assessed by the CQC as well. If they know that you run that, they will have a look at that and your provision of the care certificate. And it's a key element of training and education that really enables people to feel ready when they move into that health and social care role in a specific workplace, and giving them the tools to sort of take that next step on. To be an assessor of the care certificate, the individual has to be competent in the standards they're assessing, so either holding a qualification related to the role that you're doing, or have undertaken it themselves, and really that your manager is happy that you're in that role, you're supporting others, and you're responsible for making that decision on whether that support worker has met the standards set out in the care certificate. And there's been a few recent changes in the care certificate with an additional standard, and that new documentation will be coming out July. You don't actually need to hold an assessor qualification, but if you are interested, this could lead to more in-depth interest in teaching and assessing, as I've mentioned. And there are nationally recognised qualifications like the Level 3 Learning and Development Apprenticeship or Level 5 Learning and Skills Teacher. So there is a link there to those different qualifications on the HASO website. So that's definitely something worth having a look at if you're interested in the beauty of these apprenticeships, that you can learn and carry on doing your job at the same time. And that's something that you might want to speak to your manager about if you're particularly interested. And also really important is perhaps acting as a buddy or mentor in the first instance to a T-level student, someone between 16 and 18 undertaking a technical qualification equivalent to A-levels or Level 3 apprenticeship, or work experience placement student. And they can really learn from you and benefit from your experience, from your knowledge of what you've gained within your role and maybe your previous experience as well, to really help show them the ropes. And certainly our T-level students have fed back the value of working with our support staff and support workforce. So thank you. Next slide. And I know Richard mentioned it, it's the Higher Development Award, and Shilpa and I have been doing a lot of work with Activate Business School to develop the Higher Development Award. It is live, that blue link at the top, that will take you straight through to the website when you get these slides. And there are further programmes coming in September the 17th, I believe. And the programme is made up of 9 modules spread over 6 months, predominantly online workbooks to do, but also with some online live interactive webinars for an hour. So it's a short period of time. And it's based on a nationally recognised qualification, Level 2, Principles of Team Leading. Now, you might think, well, I'm not a team leader, but you might be aspiring to be a team leader. And what we say here is there's a lot of information in these modules you can relate to your practice as well, you know, around communication, working in a team, understanding the business, i.e. your healthcare, health and safety. So, and understanding your personal development. Again, I think that aligns with all our speakers of what they've said today. What motivates you? Thinking about your strength, how you want to move forward into your careers. So we've got some great evaluation and great response from individuals that undertake the Higher Development Award as well. And again, it's something to build on. These are all short courses, something that you can build on and continue and to gain that confidence as well. Thank you. Next slide. So these are some other programs as well, digital skills courses. So there's a course there. So those QR codes are live and active around Excel. So again, it's around that digital sort of initiative that it's really trying to give the people skills to move forward and feel more confident as well. So it's Excel and also around Outlook, Microsoft Teams. Again, that QR code is active as well. So if you want to improve your IT and digital skills, that's definitely something you may want to have a look at. And that's for all health and social care staff as well. There is a future partnerships with further colleges of education sector. So we're doing some work around high technical qualifications, level 4. So it's like a foundation degree. And there's modules around leadership, human resources, and software design as well. Thank you. And I think something Grace mentioned as well, it's really about doing that research, going out there, thinking about what really motivates you and finding that information, and just trying to get into the sources of information, setting up notifications, and really being very nosy and asking questions, which people, in education love to, from people who are very engaged and motivated. Now, I know apprenticeships have been mentioned a lot during these sessions, but those of you who are sort of not quite familiar with them, I just wanted to confirm a few sort of things around apprenticeship. So it is a paid job. If you undertook an apprenticeship, you should remain either on your current salary or a specialist salary related to your apprenticeship, but you shouldn't be sort of disadvantaged in any way if you're an existing member of staff wanting to take up a related apprenticeship to your role. You will work towards a national qualification, so it's the same as any other qualification, just because it's an apprenticeship. So we get that asked a lot, particularly around degrees. It is the same degree, whether it's an apprenticeship or non-apprenticeship route, and it's offered from the age of 16. Now, that says it must be 12 months in length. There is a slight government change coming in from August, so they are being slightly reduced in length, some levels, from 8 months in length as well. We see and we know anecdotal evidence, productivity, we know these address skills shortages. It does create a talent pipeline and does reduce staff turnover. And it does enable us to support our local communities, recruit from our local communities, and show a real diversity of the candidates applying. Now, you should get roughly around 6 hours a week within your working hours to help you complete that classroom-based learning with either a college, university or private training provider. And they range from GCSE level 2 up to master's level, although at the end of this year we are seeing changes in funding for master's level. So you have to be age 22 or under to get the funding from the apprenticeship levy to do a master's apprenticeship. But significant numbers, we're really seeing the growth. So since 2017, over 150,000 apprenticeship starts nationally in the NHS. We've got over 600 different apprenticeship standards, so it's different qualifications, around 99 of them in health and science alone. So we train the most apprenticeships in the UK. Thank you. Next slide. And I think that is the beauty again for apprenticeships. You can step on and step off. So as you can see here, it's a nice illustration from the HASO website. An individual can come in at level 2 as a healthcare support worker, perhaps undertake an apprenticeship at level 2, maybe decide to step off or continue on a level 3, a senior healthcare support worker that has a distinct pathway for allied health professions support workers in a variety of areas. And as you can see, examples here, there's a level 4 programme, mammography associate, level 5 assistant practitioner, that we are really seeing the growth. And Richard mentioned assistant practitioners in his presentation, and we're seeing a lot more assistant practitioner foundation degree programs at level 4 and 5, really focused around the allied health professions and specific contextualized professions. And then degree apprenticeships at level 6, we are seeing more and more increase in growth, whether that's dietitian, paramedic, podiatry, speech and language therapist, and even advanced clinical practice. So that's just one example of a pathway through apprenticeships. You are funded, there's no fees, you remain on your salary and your terms and conditions, and you can potentially step on and off as required. I think there's probably the main things to mention. We are finding there has been some change in rules from the government around English and maths, and if you're over 19, you don't officially need to have that English and maths. It's up to the employer whether you have that as part of the apprenticeship requirement. But what we are seeing, a lot of employers are wanting to retain and keep that English and maths element. So normally you would need equivalent to GCSE maths and English to undertake an apprenticeship. But some at the lower levels can either be done at the same time, or again, they will look at previous qualifications as well, as I mentioned earlier through ENIC. So thank you. Next slide. And this is just a slightly more in-depth slide around the level 3 senior healthcare support worker apprenticeship. The duration is normally around 18 to 24 months. Now we have a number of training providers, colleges that support this. And the beauty again is that you can undertake this, work at the same time, have some protected study within your working week. And it is really about you demonstrating increase in knowledge and skills and behaviours. And again, as I said, there's a specialist pathway within the senior healthcare support worker for allied health professions support worker. So that might be a really interesting one to start with if you're thinking about sort of getting into education, building up on an incremental level, just dipping your toe into the water, getting into education. That might be something that you may wish to start with. And again, in terms of progression, it may be thinking, well, I actually now feel ready for the next step, and I might then consider going on to do my level 4 and 5 foundation degree. So that's something you might want to have a look at. That blue highlighted, underlined standard pack is live link, so you might want to look at that a little bit more depth. Thank you. Next slide. And the level 5, that duration is normally around 2 years. For that programme, assistant practitioner, it is an apprenticeship. It's normally delivered at a university, but can be delivered at local colleges. So it's thinking about sort of locality, geographic access, really. Some programmes can be more online or blended. So if you are seriously considering undertaking this programme, it might be worth speaking to your education lead, your apprenticeship team, or your manager in the department, and again finding out some more information to present to your manager, because they're unlikely to know perhaps all the in-depth information about this programme, so you could present that to them. As I mentioned, a lot of assistant practitioner programmes are more contextualised around your that specific profession or area where you're working, and it can potentially lead on to access into a degree programme as well, if that's something that you may be interested in. Thank you. Next slide. And these are just some further resources I wanted to highlight, really. So on the Learning Hub e-learning, and there's the link there. I don't know whether you've had a look on that, but there's a healthcare support worker workbook. There's specific AHP case studies and roles in a variety of settings. The High Development Award is part of the Support Worker Learning and Development Roadmap that was delivered and initiated by Health Education England. So again, that link is live, you might want to have a look at. And it's a great resource for support workers, education leads, managers. Also, National Career Service is a great one to have a look at their skills toolkit to develop your skills, maths, IT and leadership. There's free courses through Open University, Future Learn. There's some great free courses, and also accessing local colleges of further education, going in, having a look at their prospectus, free courses, asking them what they offer. And there's just some awesome information around T-levels in health and care if you're interested, and more information about apprenticeships in the Skills for Health website there. So do have a look at. And I also was going to ask, suggest about any further reading, joining LinkedIn and following people, looking at what's going on, trying to keep up to date with any initiatives. So Richard Griffin, for example, will share on LinkedIn his most recent paper that he's written. So there's a wealth of information out there. So it's having a look on there and seeing what else is around to give you more ideas and information. So thank you. I think that's our last slide.
Thank you so much, Claire. Absolutely, power of networking. Thank you, Shilpa. Thank you, Claire. I'd like to open the floor for questions. We have a few minutes before we go into our lunch break. Please do raise your hand. There's a question in the chat that Michelle has brought. How long would the apprenticeship take if we only have part-time role in the therapy department?
Well, I think there are changes now with the on the job, off the job training. There's slight changes, and previously part-time individuals, it was quite difficult for them to perhaps undertake an apprenticeship, or the apprenticeship may have to be extended slightly. So with the changes coming in August, it may be a little easier for part-time individuals to undertake apprenticeships. So I'd definitely suggest, and it depends how part-time, because also you want to be able to make the course meaningful to you. Currently, the guide is for individuals to work at least 30 hours a week. So it all depends, I think, on the level of the apprenticeship that you're looking to undertake, what the components are. You know, do you need to do placements? Finding out more information about it, whether it's at a university or college or training provider. But thinking about the more entry level, sort of level 3, level 4, it would certainly, I think, be a bit more straightforward now for individuals who work part-time. So it's definitely, again, seeking out that information, depending on what you want to do in the future, how you want to use the apprenticeship.
Thank you, Claire. Shilpa, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I just to add that, yeah, minimum is 16 hours that you need to work. But again, if you're doing a degree with very few hours, it can take much, much longer. And then you are out of sync with the modules that the university are teaching. So some universities do not take people who are very, very part-time. 30 hours is what is there. For entry-level apprenticeships, level 3, a little bit less than 30 hours is reasonable. But, you know, by all means, changes are happening with the funding rules. So we need to kind of see how that the universities or providers respond to that.
Right, thank you, Shilpa. We've got a couple of hands up, which I'll come to. There's some questions in the chat as well, if I could direct you guys to that afterwards. But Sarah, would you like to come in with your question? You're on mute at the moment.
Oh, thank you, Hanifa. So Claire, I just wanted to double check, and I don't know if I've got this wrong or not. Did you mention that you need to be below 20 to get the funding, or?
So for a level 7, for a master's apprenticeship, the government have changing the rules.
Oh,
so
God.
by the end of this calendar year, so all current, if people are on an apprenticeship now at level 7, that's going to be honoured. But in the new year and onwards, if you are over 21, 22, you would not be able to access apprenticeship levy to pay for your course fees for a level 7. So it's really obviously bringing a restriction for employers, and obviously the government want to really target younger people to being able to access that funding.
Yeah, but I think that two courses that you showed, Claire, the assistant practitioner and the senior healthcare support worker, those there's no changes in that. It's more
it's just the level 7.
Yeah, it's around the advanced clinical practitioner role for the support.
This means masters, because I've applied last year for masters, and they wanted me to pass functional skills, which I did now. So that means I can't apply anymore because I'm over 21.
So we've got a little bit of time. So it depends on when your program starts. So I would suggest if anyone wants a level 7 now, apply now before the end of this calendar year. So you've got a bit of time.
Okay. Would you be able to send us the link in the chat so I can apply ASAP before?
So I think it depends on the university or the course that you're applying for, and you need to go to the website or so also I think I would I mean either send me an email and I can put you in touch with the apprenticeship team in your trust.
Yeah,
and they will be able to enroll you, because they have to actually make sure that they've got the contract, etc., with that university or the course. So they will be able to signpost you and all. So drop me a line and then I'll connect you with
Thank you so much,
your apprenticeship. Yeah.
And also I wanted to add, because I passed my functional skills a week ago, they sent me a 10% off of their course. Anybody who wants to use it, I can get in touch with me and I can send you the card if you are about to do the functional skills and if you want to enroll it. So
okay, amazing.
Well done.
Brilliantly. Thank you so much. Just
Sajda, can I take one question? I think Neil has asked a question on if
from the chat.
Yeah, from the chat, that you know, they don't want to study, but how can they progress or this thing? And briefly, I would just say you don't need to study and do oodles and oodles of courses. Just you know, show that you have, you know, how you're using your skills, take on extra responsibilities. If you want to just do those CPD opportunities that you may get, you know, these 2-hour workshops, all that adds up. And make sure that you make a list of this. There's lots and lots of things that you can find on your Trust intranet. There's NHS Elect. There is Open University that offers this couple of hours just webinar type of courses. So there's that. And, you know, put up your hand to organize the cake sale or something in your, so that shows that you have that leadership skills, you know.
Thank you very much, Shilpa. That's a really, really amazing reminder. And I think I would definitely revert everyone's attention back to the AHP support worker Padlet. Going back to Claire's presentation about supporting T-level students at Buckinghamshire Trust, there's a coaching and mentoring program that's for support workers to enroll in and participate in and support students. And we had Andrea Field come and present that, the support worker network meeting that Joanna had shared. So if you wanted details of that, the presentation is available. The High Development Award, every time Shilpa and Claire arrange this, the information goes out to everybody. Our last cohort, we had some amazing HP support workers enrolled in this, and I was very privileged to see their final presentation, and I was absolutely blown away. And the feedback that we got from the support worker was how supported they were by the tutors during that leadership program that they did. And in terms of level 3 and 5 apprenticeships, talking to your education team leads and accessing levy, but there is additional funding. And again, those emails are going through. So please do get in touch. There is lots there, and do reach out. And as Claire kind of said, power of networking. So if it's okay, we will now take a break. We'll stop recording. There's a lunch break now, or an optional webinar with Chartered Society of Physiotherapy that you can attend. In the afternoon, we've got 2 CPD workshops, one on motivational interviewing, shared decision making. These will not be recorded so that you're able to comfortably contribute. And then we'll have closing remarks and evaluation at 3:45. So enjoy break, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beth's just asking if we log out or if we stay.